My parents have always favored my younger sister over me. I knew it myself, but the difference was extreme. Even so, my parents say they want to live with me in the future. I thought that was what would happen since I had no desire to get married. And yet, I never expected such an outcome to await me. My name is Mia, and I am 42 years old. I have been working as a bureaucrat since graduating from college. Even if I say so myself, I have always been good at studying. As an elementary school student, I liked difficult novels and made it a habit to read encyclopedias and reference materials. Thanks to that, my knowledge has been accumulating rapidly, and I always scored 100 points on tests. The school teachers praised me every time, but my parents never did. They wanted to raise me to be more childlike. I suppose children who enjoy studying like me were not cute to them. Even when they made me take lessons, I always did them perfectly. But I wasn't passionate about anything in particular. My parents often called me a boring child. When I turned 10, my sister Jennifer was born. The love that was supposed to be directed towards me was increasingly poured onto Jennifer, and before I knew it, I had become like air inside the house.
I'm home, Mom and Dad.
Jennifer is so cute.
She's my child, so it's only natural, right? I have to buy her new clothes again.
Even when I came back from school and called out to them, they completely ignored me. Although my voice should have been heard, there was no response. My sister has everything that I don't have. She's cute and charming. Although she was a little weak in studies, it seems that even that was cute to our parents. My parents always paid attention to my sister, who was 10 years younger than me, and ignored me. Even on my birthday, the table was filled with my sister's favorite dishes.
Mia, look. Here's your birthday present.
The present I got from my parents when I was 15 was clearly a stuffed animal for little kids. Why did they give me such a present when I was a freshman in high school? I had asked for new shoes for my birthday. Then my sister, who was sitting next to me, began to speak.
Oh, that's the one I wanted.
And she snatched the stuffed animal from my hand. My parents also looked at her with a smile.
This was the one Jennifer wanted. I made a mistake.
Yeah, we were careless. Mia, sorry, but can you give it to Jennifer?
They told me such a cruel thing calmly. But this is my birthday present.
Mia, you're a high school student. You don't need a stuffed animal, do you?
That's right. Jennifer wants it. Mia, you're the older sister, so give it to her.
My sister looked at me with a smirk, as if she knew this would happen. I even felt fear for my sister, who was only 5 years old. Even in such a sister-prioritized life, people seem to get used to it somehow. Before I knew it, I had accepted this life as normal. No matter what I did, I was never praised, and when I spoke, I was ignored. I had given up on such a daily life. But I never slacked off on my studies, and I passed the high school entrance exam successfully. And I was able to pass the entrance exam for a super elite university. I didn't go to cram school, and I asked the teacher when I didn't understand something. I was so happy when I found out that I passed, because I studied hard. But even when I got into college, my parents didn't praise me.
It doesn't matter what college you go to. What matters is where you get a job and how much you earn.
He threw such a dreamless word at me. On the other hand, I started job hunting early and didn't compromise at all. As a result, I passed the civil service exam and became a bureaucrat after graduating from college. I went back to my hometown after a long time and told my parents that I got a job offer as a bureaucrat. Dad, Mom. I finished job hunting.
Really?
My mother was still uninterested as usual. My father didn't even reply and was playing with his smartphone. And I'm going to work as a bureaucrat.
Wait, what? Bureaucrat? Did you just say bureaucrat?
My mother, who had shown no interest at all until then, suddenly looked up and saw me.
What? Bureaucrat? Mia, is that true?
My father also stopped his smartphone and jumped in. Yeah, it's true. I passed the civil service exam. I thought I'd report to you guys too. That's why I came back today. I thought I wouldn't get any praise even if I reported this, but contrary to my expectations, my father and mother congratulated me one after another.
Mia. That's amazing, a bureaucrat. I'm so surprised.
Wow, I always knew you were a smart kid, but I didn't expect you to go this far. I'm proud of you too.
I was stunned by the unexpected turn of events. I couldn't believe that my parents praised me so much. That fact gave me some confidence. As a working adult, I worked hard at my job. The work was very tough, and the content and amount were incomparable to what I had experienced before. But it was a job that my parents praised me for. I thought so, and faced the work desperately. Half a year after I became a working adult, I got a rare phone call from my mother. Hello? Mom? What's wrong?
Oh, Mia? How's your work? Going well?
She cared about me. I felt happy when I thought so. Yeah, I'm busy but doing well. Why did you contact me?
Well, actually, I have a favor to ask you.
A favor? What is it? Then my mother began to speak awkwardly.
Actually, I haven't been feeling well lately. I quit the part-time job I had been doing until now.
What? You're not feeling well. Are you okay?
I think it's because of my age. The doctor told me not to overdo it. So I wanted to ask you. Mia, can you send me money every month from now on?
Money?
Yes, can you do it?
In retrospect, maybe she just wanted to rip money off me. But at that time, I was purely happy that my mother relied on me. Yeah, sure. I don't have any hobbies, so I don't spend much money. How much should I transfer?
Well, it would be helpful if you could transfer $700 every month for now.
$700 a month. If I cut down on my living expenses a little bit, I could manage. Okay. Then I'll transfer it to your account on payday from this month.
Really? You're amazing, Mia. You're so reliable. I want to live with you in the future. I'm counting on you from now on.
We're family, so we help each other when we're in trouble. Don't worry about it. I was completely pleased and started to transfer $700 to my mother's account every month from then on. Then, I started to get asked for money from my father and sister as well.
Mia, I'm sorry, but can you transfer me about $350?
Dad? What's wrong?
Actually, there's something I really want. But you know your mother quit her part-time job, right? So we're tight on money. I'll say it's a present from Mia, so just transfer me $350.
Okay, I got it. I transferred $350 to my father without any doubt. And then it was my sister.
Mia. Our household is having a hard time, and my allowance got cut, so. Can you give me some money?
Didn't I give you some the other day? You're still in middle school, right? What do you use it for?
To hang out with friends, to buy makeup tools. Nowadays, middle school students need money.
All right, just use it wisely, okay?
Yay! I love you, Mia.
She appealed to me with a tearful voice, so I couldn't be rude and ended up giving her some money. Now that I think about it, I was really stupid. But at that time, I was intoxicated by the fact that I was relied on by my family, and I didn't doubt anything. I continued to send money to my family, and before I knew it, 20 years had passed. I was 42 years old, and I had been promoted and given a position because I had devoted myself to my work, and I was able to earn a decent salary. My sister Jennifer had gotten married a few years ago, and she was about to have a baby. I had never had a desire to get married, but when I saw my sister looking happy at her wedding, I wonder if marriage is wonderful. I thought, just a little. One day, something happened. When I went back to my parents' house after a long time, they made me a proposal.
Mia, I've been telling you this, but your father and I want to live with you. So, if possible, we want you to build a house for us.
Huh, I have to build it? Why can't I live with you in this house?
This house is getting old, isn't it? Your father and I are getting weaker and weaker in our legs and hips. We want to live in a more comfortable house from now on.
I see. To be honest, I was worried about my parents too. They were getting old, and my sister had already moved out after getting married. Maybe it would be better for me to live with them before something happened. I thought so, and I accepted their proposal. Okay. I have some savings from before. I'll try to build it as soon as possible. When I told them that, my father and mother were overjoyed. Then my mother added a strange condition.
Thank you, Mia. Oh, by the way, I'd like a two-family house. That's okay, right?
Huh? Yeah, that's fine, but...
Even if we're family, private space is important, you know. Hee hee.
At that time, I thought they were being considerate of me, but... In fact, they had a terrible plan that I didn't know about. I decided to build a two-family house and started preparing right away. I decided on the floor plan with my parents on my days off and asked a contractor to do it. For a while, my days off were almost spent for my own home. About a year later, a splendid two-family house was completed. On the day of delivery, I asked a mover to take care of my luggage and was about to head to my new home when I got a phone call from the mover.
Excuse me, but the people at the house said, "We don't need that luggage, take it back."
What? What do you mean? I hurriedly called my mother to check. Hello? Mom?
Oh, is that Mia? What's wrong? Why are you in such a hurry?
I just got a call from the mover, and they said they were told to take my luggage back. Did they get to the wrong place? Mom, can you go outside and check? Then, the next moment, an unbelievable word came out of my mother's mouth.
Ah, I was the one who refused it.
What? Wait, Mom, what do you mean?
Hee hee, thank you for your hard work. You are no longer needed.
My head went blank at her words. No longer needed? What does that mean? Aren't my parents and I going to live in that house from today? I rushed to my new home. And then...
Hey, Mia.
There was someone waving at me from the balcony on the second floor. It was my sister Jennifer. Huh? Jennifer? Why are you here?
Why? I'm going to live in this house from today.
What? On the balcony, my father and mother, Jennifer and her husband, were all there, looking down at me with smirks. Hey. Dad, Mom. What's going on? Why are Jennifer and her husband here?
You can't be serious. You think we'd live with someone like you who has no charm. We're going to live with Jennifer and her husband, so don't bother us.
What? But this house is for us to live together.
Huh? No way. We just made you build this house. We used your money that you earned and saved as a single person. Be grateful.
My mother started to laugh at my father's words. At that moment, I felt a surge of anger rising at an incredible speed. They used my money? Be grateful? Don't be ridiculous. The money I worked hard for. The house I built thinking it was for my parents. They used it for something like this. I've been sending you money all this time. How could you do something like this? At that word, my mother said mockingly.
Huh? What are you talking about with just $700 a month? We don't owe you anything for that amount.
My sister also joined in and started to provoke me.
Well, thanks to your money, we had a good time as a family. We don't need your money anymore, so why don't you stop if you don't like it?
What the hell are they? I'll never forgive them. I'll crush them thoroughly. Okay. Then I'll gladly stop sending you money. I said that and flew back to the apartment I used to live in. I explained the situation and decided to live there again. And to get revenge on that fake family, I used all my contacts and prepared for the punishment. During that time, I got nasty messages from my parents and sister saying they were enjoying their new home, but I ignored them all. They can only live there for a little longer anyway. They can enjoy it while they can. 2 weeks later, I got a phone call from my father. Hello?
Hey, Mia. What the hell is going on? We were told to get out of this house right now.
Oh, that. I decided to sell that house. I told him cheerfully.
What? Sell it? Don't be ridiculous. This is the house we live in.
So what? The house is under my name, you know.
What?
If I put that house up for sale, I could kick them out. This was my plan to revenge. I had the right to sell that house because I built it under my name. I didn't want to just take it back. I decided to make them leave without notice by putting it up for sale.
Hey, wait a minute. It's unreasonable to tell us to leave in a week. Jennifer and her husband are here too. We're not leaving, ever.
I see. I don't care. I'll call the police if you don't leave.
What? The police?
I heard my mother and sister screaming in the background, but I didn't care. I had no intention of forgiving them, not even a bit.
Mia, please. Wait a minute.
Come on, I'm already waiting, aren't I? I let you enjoy your life in the new house for 2 weeks, didn't I? And you have a week until you have to leave, right? I'm such a nice daughter, aren't I? I said sarcastically, and they went silent. They only said, or no, so I decided to give them the final blow. Sorry, but I'm not going to be your convenient cash cow anymore. I'll give you the money I've been sending you as a severance pay. But in return, stay away from me forever. I said that and hung up the phone. It's finally over. I felt relieved and collapsed on the floor. My life had been nothing but being deceived and used by my family. It was finally over. A week later, my parents, who were kicked out of that house, had to go back to the old house they used to live in. My sister and her husband had already canceled the house they were living in, so they had no choice but to live with their parents.
It's all because of you, Dad and Mom. You made us suffer too.
What did you say? It was you who started to say you wanted to live with us.
That's right. If we had let Mia live with us instead of you, we would have had a stable retirement.
What? What are you talking about? You shitty parents.
The honeymoon between my sister and my parents was long gone. Now they curse and blame each other every day. I'm glad I cut ties with such a greedy family. I won't get back the money I sent them, but I can get back my life. From now on, I want to spend money for myself and live a happy life.
How did you like this story? Please also subscribe to our channel. See you in the next video.
I am a hairdresser, 38 years old, currently running 4 beauty salons. Nancy Turner. From the moment I decided to become a hairdresser, my goal was to open my own salon. Therefore, after graduating from beauty school, I thought I would have the shortest possible time to train and acquire skills. I spent my days studying without time to play, along with learning business management. Even so, I enjoyed doing what I loved towards my dream, and no matter how much time I had, it was never enough. I met my husband before the opening of my first salon, where I recruited only a few staff members. He was the one who came to the interview.
Nice to meet you, I'm Frank Turner.
He greeted me cheerfully, and was 2 years younger than me. I loved people who could greet people in a loud voice. So I had a good impression of him. Nice to meet you, Frank. I'm Nancy Smith. Thank you for coming today.
I would like to have my own salon in the near future. It took me so long to decide what I wanted to do, and I started late to go to beauty school, but I finally graduated. But I wanted to find a job where I could be the best at something. That's how I came up with working at a beauty salon. From then I studied as hard as anyone else at school.
I think it's great to have a goal.
Your salon is currently recruiting opening staff, so I was determined that there's no other place for me, so I applied here. I would love to learn here.
I see. I understand how you feel. I've also come this far with similar goals.
Please let me learn about the technical and management aspects here. Please.
We'll finish the interview for today. Frank Turner, I'll hire you, and our job recruiting will be over.
Excellent. Thank you very much. I'll do my best.
Thank you, I'm looking forward to working with you. This is how I started the first memorable salon with my current husband as a member. This is how I met my husband. Frank was a man of his word and worked harder than anyone else in my salon, studied hard, then freely opened his own salon. I supported him because I had heard his dream from the beginning, and I taught him everything I could teach. He worked really hard during his training, and he came into the salon to practice even on his day off. I felt more and more supportive as it was like watching myself a little while ago. It was around the time when his salon was about to open.
Hey, Nancy. Please wait for me at the salon tomorrow night, and don't forget to dress up to the nines.
What's going on?
I couldn't have opened my own salon so soon without you, Nancy. I want to thank you, so please join me for dinner tomorrow night.
Aw, you shouldn't worry about that.
Please.
All right. I'll be there and make sure to dress up to nines.
Yay! Then I'll pick you up tomorrow.
I didn't expect to be taken to an authentic French restaurant that day, and I never imagined that he would propose to me.
Thank you for coming today, and thank you so much for everything you've done for me. From now on, I'm also one of your rivals in the same industry.
He said it and looked straight into my eyes with a smile. My heart missed a beat for a moment and I glanced away from him.
I have been holding back for a long time, until we were in the same position. Will you go out with me? No, actually, please marry me. That's why I asked you to come here today.
Goodness me.
I didn't want to say the word marriage out of the blue as it might turn you off, so I quickly changed to say, will you go out with me? But I am serious. I liked you from the first moment I met you at the interview. Well, it was kinda a sense of longing at the beginning. Nancy, will you become a family with me while we are looking after our own salon?
Well, actually, I still have plans to increase the number of salons by at least 3 more. So I can't think about marriage or children at the moment.
Just because we've married, it doesn't mean you have to become like a regular homemaker. We can have children when you want to have them. I'm also going through a hard time from now on, and if we get over that together, we'll be fine. You don't like me? You don't like younger men? No chance to even go out with me?
He looked anxiously into my face as I looked down. I made eye contact with him this time and said, "Thank you, I would love to." With these words, we started dating towards marriage. Looking back, this was the pinnacle of our happiness. Even though we are in the same industry, we both have different workplaces, we both have our own salons to look after, and we believed that we would be the best partners who shared the same sense of value and thoughts. After this, we registered our marriage when Frank's salon got on track, and we also bought an apartment to live in together. Since I had a lot of plans for my life with my salon, I had never really thought about marriage or anything like that, so I was undoubtedly the most surprised by the current situation. Soon after, I started preparing for the opening of the second salon. Since Frank and I had promised to keep out of each other's businesses, we only had small talk and did not explain them in detail. We increased the number of salons like this, and I was about to open the 4th salon, which I had been aiming for. It took me a long time to get here and it was really tough, but above all, the fact that I was with him made it actually difficult, halfway through, for me to do what I wanted to do. Put simply, there was a big difference in the way Frank and I thought about running the salon. I always show up at all the salons every day to check how they are getting on, make sure to communicate with the staff, and try to serve at least one customer at each salon. As for Frank, what he said about wanting a place to work at the top was actually the exact opposite of what I meant. He left the salon to the staff, and only showed up when it first opened. The rest of the time he wasn't really working. He had been working hard to be the top up to that point, where he could just give them instructions, and take the easy way out. So there are a lot of staff members coming and going, they also lose repeat customers, and he's now ended up having only one salon, and losing money every month. Moreover, he says things like it's all the staff's fault, without giving them a chance. I hit the roof watching him. However, we had promised to keep our businesses totally separate, so I sucked it up. My first salon is a family-oriented salon in the town. The second one is near the train station, where young people gather, and the prices are set a little cheaper for young people. The third one is the exact opposite, a salon where everything is geared towards adult women, such as the customer service, the salon's design, and the service provided. Then the next one will be open near a fancy drinking place, and designed for dressing, hair and makeup for ladies before going to work at nightclubs. The concept of each salon is different, and the staff members are assigned to the salons that suit them the best. Sometimes we have meetings, dinners, and company-paid trips with all staff members from all salons. Of course, each salon steadily exceeded the previous year in sales. Frank probably found how I work was annoying. On the day before the opening of the fourth salon, I didn't have enough hands and feet to get ready for the new salon, while also having other salons currently in operation. However, I didn't want to ask him anything about my salon, even though he was just a couch potato. So I thought I'd at least ask him to do something for me at home. I had never asked him to do anything before, but I took the plunge and asked him, "Hey, Frank. I'm sorry, but I'm snowed under with work today, so can I get you to go to the bank for me?" I took out 3 different credit cards in my name from my wallet and handed them to him, explaining what I wanted him to do. Then he suddenly raised his voice, interrupting me.
Don't get cocky, just because you make a bit more money than I do. Who are you trying to get to do odd jobs?
He stood up, grabbed the scissors in one hand as he stood in front of me. I've never felt he was scary before. Then he was bold enough to cut up my credit cards, one by one, in order. What the heck are you doing? That's terrible.
That's your fault because you are trying to make me do that. If you can't manage to do that yourself, why don't you hire someone to do it for you as you're earning a lot?
The things I've just asked you to do are all related to this house and our livelihood. You are also living here, so what's wrong with asking for help at least once? Can't you even help me with that?
Stop looking down on me like that. Shut up.
That's enough. I've got a lot on my plate. Don't make trouble for me anymore. I left the house after saying it. I didn't have time for a squabble and didn't want to be upset about such things now. I brooded over lots of things while heading to the new salon. No matter how many times I brood about it, I come up with the same consequence. I don't even need him anymore, and he is no longer the Frank I loved. I'm gonna break up with him. That's what I decided. For the time being, I was too busy to go home for a while. Then a week passed since that day. The opening of the new salon had settled down successfully, so I went home once. When I entered the house, I found a woman's shoes at the entrance. I didn't care about it and went inside, then put the divorce papers in the living room. Then I started to pack my stuff in my room. I kept hearing the flirting voice having fun from his room. I was so frustrated, but I didn't cry. 2 of them came out of the room just as I was about to finish everything. Frank recognized my presence, and looked surprised for a moment, but pretended to be normal.
If you're coming home, say so. You surprised me, as you've just come home out of the blue, since you haven't come home for a while.
To my surprise, the woman standing behind him in her underwear was a regular customer I've always served at my first salon. She looked uncomfortable too, so I told her to get dressed anyway. She rushed back to his room. "I've brought the divorce papers in, they're in the living room, can you sign them right now?"
You made me think about where you were, and why you are now being so selfish.
You're the one being selfish.
Well, whatever. I'll do as you say.
He signed it with a smirk on his face. Then the woman he is having an affair with came into the living room, getting dressed.
I'm sorry, Nancy. I was never interested in him. I have always admired you, Nancy, and wanted to be like you. Then he approached me, and I wanted to get a feeling of being like you. I gave in to him. I'll never do this again. Please forgive me.
What the? Are you mocking me?
If you want to get the feeling of being like me, you can't do that with a man like him now. Go ahead if you wish, as I don't need him anymore.
I'm not gonna do that. I don't need him either.
That's so funny, Frank. No one needs you apparently.
What's the matter with you guys? Make sure to register the divorce papers. Go home, both of you.
He handed it over to me and I left the apartment with her. She kept apologizing when we were alone. His selfish behavior drives me round the bend though. I honestly didn't feel much anger towards this girl. I guess that was my true feeling, that I didn't love him anymore. I had already decided to divorce Frank, so don't apologize anymore. But I think you'd better stay away from a man like him. Come to my salon anytime, you are always welcome. She said nothing, crying, and I left her there. I wanted to be a cool woman in front of her who admired me. A few days later, the divorce papers were successfully registered and the process was completed. I phoned Frank to let him know about it. I registered the divorce papers and I want to go through with the apartment and other things in turn.
We'll split the property in half when we get divorced, right? As you know, my salon is in the red. So give me half the rights to your salon. This apartment is mine too, since you're the one who left.
He started to talk ridiculously. Since what he said was out of the question, we agreed to meet up later and I hung up the phone. He is trying to use our divorce to gain profit as he is not doing well in running his own salon. He is a real jerk. So I prepared myself to not lose to him. I took my lawyer with me in case things didn't go smoothly on the day of the meeting. He was surprised that I did not come alone. I want to sew things up today, don't give up halfway through.
I want to get it done quickly, too.
What do you want to do with the apartment? I'm not gonna live here anymore, but it's up to you, Frank. There's still the mortgage left, as long as you are able to manage that on your own.
Well, if you give me half of your salons, I can afford it, so I'll stay living there.
I can't do that, unfortunately, but would you still live there?
Why not? Half of the property between us as a couple is mine, isn't it?
That's true for savings and deposits within the household, whereas company property is only company property and is not subject to division between the couple in the event of divorce.
Are you kidding me?
You can't pay off the mortgage for this apartment under the circumstances, can you?
We've found that if you sell it now, an appraisal has been made that allows you to sell it for an amount exceeding the remaining mortgage. I recommend that you divide the amount with her and use it as moving expenses.
I'm not leaving that apartment.
He was completely rigid. In this discussion, he said he would continue to live in this apartment, which was initially purchased under both our names, after changing it under his name alone. Of course, we would both continue to run each other's salons, and everything worked out well for me personally, and I could go back to my own life. However, it seemed that life from here on would be terrible for him. After this, my fourth salon was settled down. And I continued to open new salons from one to another. I was able to enjoy opening new salons, as I didn't have to care about what Frank would think, which made me uncomfortable. The most important thing in expanding business was to have a good eye for people I can entrust my salon to, and build good relationships with them. I lost some confidence because of what happened with Frank, and I may be betrayed by someone again in the future, but I will trust the employees I have chosen and continue to move forward without fear. Frank's salon closed down a few months after that day. He also hurriedly put the apartment on the market, but it could only be sold for less than the remaining mortgage due to probably its poor condition after our divorce. He is apparently having a hard time with money after all, including the debt for his salon and the mortgage on the apartment. It is ironic that someone who has lived his entire life with the dream of making money easily, is now struggling to make ends meet. I couldn't find the happiness of marriage, but I was able to achieve success in my work beyond my wildest dreams. I feel happy with my life.